Welcome to Evermore Creative Art Studio. I'm Lauren, and in today's tutorial I'm going to show you a photo transfer method that I use for Masterboards. I've got a list of supplies that you'll need, but I'll list them at the bottom so that you don't have to worry about catching this. But you'll need some heavy cardstock or mixed media paper, and some magazines, artist gel medium, napkins or tissue paper, a water jar, paintbrushes. And I urge you not to use a glue or a Mod Podge for this. I think it works so much better when you have an actual water-resistant material like the gel medium, which once dried cannot be reactivated again. It's permanent. I would definitely use it. And if you don't, you can get some inexpensively. I got mine from Walmart. In Canada, it was only $6. So what I start with is my magazine images. I go through a magazine and pick out ones I like. These images here are from Reminisce magazine, and I'll put a link to that below as well. It's full of amazing photographs that their readers have sent in, and you know, they're copyright protected, but you can use them for your own personal use. Once you buy a magazine, it's fine. And they really do have a lot, and they transfer really nicely too. So I'm just separating my images from the surrounding area. I'm not going to use all of these. These are just ones that caught my eye that I really liked. It doesn't matter if the edges are really neat or not, especially if they have a white border, because the white does not transfer. There's no ink there, so whatever is white will not transfer. If there is text on your image or around your image, it will mirror, so it will come out backwards. Everything will come out mirrored from the original. So if the text is important to your image, I would suggest you either cut it out or pick another image. I've often, if the text is at the bottom, I might just cut it off, and then when my masterboard is finished and I'm making tags or whatever out of it, I'll grab the text that went with that photo and I'll just glue it in separately as part of the embellishments. So that's one idea. Yeah, I'm doing a little bit of a modern one with colored images. I'm going to try a picture out of this Songbirds book. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but I thought I would try it. Experimenting is one of the joys of doing art. You don't know what's going to happen until you try it, and sometimes it doesn't work out the way you thought it would, but it ends up being a happy accident, and you learn something new and something to call your own. So like I said, the white doesn't matter. I am trimming it down though to save room on the 8.5 cardstock, 8.5 by 11 cardstock that I'm going to be using. I just don't want to have a lot of extra on there. So I really like these little, it's like a mood board almost right in the middle of the magazine. It's got patterns and different images that I really like. So I'm gonna take some out and see what happens with them. I'm just playing. I like playing with paper and cutting and gluing. I know probably 99.9% of you can relate to that. And if I see words that I like while I'm going, I cut those out too. I have a little box that I save random words in, and I'll use them later for collage or embellishment or whatever. So. And sometimes I really, can't decide what I want to do with an image. Like this one here, it's like that one blunt side kind of bothers me, but I don't know if I want to cut it yet, so I'm going to save it. I'm going to think on that. And now I'm going to try and put things together that kind of make sense, color-wise, theme-wise. You don't have to do that. You can just put whatever down too, whatever makes you joyful. When we cut our masterboards into cards and tags, we can either have a focal point, which is what I usually end up doing, or you can just randomly cut them. And to randomly cut, it's sort of better if you have just a chaotic mishmash. Yeah. So, but I haven't still quite got to that place where I can let go of control that much. I kind of like to make a central image when I work. So I'm using this acrylic matte medium, a gel. You can use matte or gloss. It really doesn't matter. Doesn't make any difference to the outcome. I just use matte. It's whatever. It's what I like. Little jar with a lid to keep my little bit from drying up too much. Jar of water, paintbrushes, and there's my baby wipes. Those are so handy in an art room. So, and I've got 110-pound cardstock. It's sturdy and it holds up really well with the gel medium on top. So here are some images that I'm just playing around with. I'm going to do a bit of a layout first, just to see where things are going to get placed. Because I want a little bit of space around my images for when I add the tissue paper and napkins to it, and the stamps. I like those together. Now they came out of the same magazine, which is probably why they work really well together. But I just fiddle, and I want to leave that space. I want to leave at least 3/4 of an inch around them. Unless, of course, like I said, you want them all pressed up against each other too, which I've never tried. That actually might be fun to try too, just put them all down willy-nilly and helter-skelter. Maybe I'll do that. And then I'll post either a video or I'll just, post the results on Instagram and Facebook. So this one, I guess I did decide to cut that one corner off, and I measured it up against the other side so it'd be somewhat symmetrical. Not totally wonky. And just trying to figure out where to put it. And this probably takes more time than anything for me, is just, placement of things. And that's pretty much all I'm going to get. So now I'm going to go to the images I got from the Reminisce magazine, the vintage photos, and pick a few of those out and see where they'll fit. There. Oh, I'm thinking I want something different on that. You know what? It was a while since I did these to the voiceover. I can't remember what I was thinking. I do know I changed the background a bit though, so anyway, guess we'll find out. I've got my brush. I use cheap brushes for this because I find when I use them with a matte medium or any kind of glue, I only get so many uses out of them, and it doesn't even matter how well I keep them clean. Eventually they just get gunked up. So I get the cheapest brushes I can find and still have a fairly good quality. And these were nice up in Canada. I got these ones from the Dollarama here, and yeah, I'm quite happy with them. So I'm going to put on a layer of gel medium, and I later find out that I'm putting it on a bit too thin. I should have made it just a little bit heavier, and I'll get a better image transfer that way. But, live and learn. I haven't done these for a while, so I kind of forgot. But I want to mention that to you because it's kind of important. So I'm just going to press it all down with my finger, and then get it right up to the edges. Now, I don't want to put any gel medium on the back side of that image. I don't, because it is impervious to water, and I need water to remove the back side. So if I get my gel medium on it, I won't be able to get it off nicely. So Try and avoid that if you can. Yet you still want to get a good edging of the gel medium around the image on the cardstock, because we're going to use water to take the back papers off, and the gel medium protects the cardstock from disintegrating with the water. And sometimes before I begin, I will take a cardstock and just cover the whole thing with a layer of gel medium and let it dry. And then I don't have to worry so much about missing an edge or anything. So that is an option too. I didn't do it here. I'm just really trying to give myself a good border around my images with the gel. It must have been a cat hair. There. Oh, you can see it's sort of coming off already. It's imparting the image. Just making sure that I have enough. And a room key or a gift card. They make really nice little spatulas for smoothing out, getting all the bubbles out, making sure you get a nice seal. So, and I do get a really, really good seal with these, but I end up with more of a distressed look than I wanted. And I do now realize I didn't put enough gel on it. So that's one thing to consider. Just put a little bit more on top. And you'll figure it out. You know, there's no real recipe for it. There's no... It's just a feel thing, you know, and by doing. The more you do, the more often you do, and the better a feel you get for it. Like I said, I haven't done these in a bit, and I learned a lot. It's my little brayer, and I love it, and it works really well too. Actually, it might work better than the card, but they do both work. And it's good to get right up to the edge of your paper too, as much as you can, because if water seeps underneath there, it will just start pulling apart. And you can trim it later. It's not the end of the world. It's just, if you don't want to trim it, or if it cuts out a piece of the, you know, image that you were hoping for, you'll be disappointed. So just, I can't stress enough to get the gel medium around the outer edge of your image. Give it a good coating, just so that the water does not eat away at your paper. So there's the little bird. I'm just going to rub that little guy down with my finger. There. Good. I'm cleaning my brush, and that's it. Now I just put it away to dry. And now I'm going to move back to the Reminisce images, and I decided that what I want to see what happens if I put an image over top of a book page. And I haven't done that before, so I'm going to try that. I'm going to collage some book pages down. We'll just see what happens. So when there's interesting text like this, I think about things like that, and I'll put a piece down somewhere. I like that headline, and I also like the little type. I'm not really overthinking it. I want to try a variety of color of papers and a variety of text. Now I'm just going to see how the images fit in with the way I've got the book pages placed. It's just fiddling with composition a bit, trying to imagine what it would look like with added tissue papers and stamps. You know, I don't want too much to take away from the images, but I want enough that it's interesting. So I'm going to put some gel medium on the back of these and just put them down on the cardstock. You could put the gel over top if you wanted to. You could even put your images down on top as you go. I just like to do one thing at a time, and that's just me. Now I'm going to start laying down my images, and again I'm kind of just doing a quick little layout to see where I want things to go. And I do end up changing my mind a little bit. I'm not sure how this is going to work out, so anything that I want for sure to show through, like the one on the top left has a little man standing by a truck, and I want to make sure that I see him. So I wanted to find a place that did not have a book page down where I could put him, and then if the truck is over the prints of the books, it's fine. But I wanted to make sure that he came out okay, so that's why I switched those two top ones around. And there's a little blank spot between those three pieces of book paper, and I'm going to try and utilize it to get a clear shot of the truck. But mostly this is an experiment on my part, you know, and just gotta try it. It's only paper, right? It's only paper, and if it doesn't work out for this, I'll find another use for all the images that come from it. So, you know, I'm not worried. I'm really not worried. It doesn't have to work, and it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm playing, I'm having fun, and you know, that's the joy of art. I never get too hung up in things that they'll never do it again, or that it holds me back. I used to do that a long time ago. Everything held me back. I was so afraid of doing it wrong or making a mistake that I deprived myself of a lot of creative joy. That's really sad. And I know I'm not the only person too, so you know, all I can say is when you're doing this, don't stress the outcome. It's going to be what it's going to be, and you're going to learn something, and you're going to have fun, and you might end up with some really awesome ephemera in the end. And I think that's kind of the way I like to approach all my art projects now, is more for the process than for the outcome. Although a good outcome is really nice and fun, and yeah, I like it. That's what I aim for. So now my images are dry. All the medium is dry, and I can start adding water to saturate the backs of the images so that they'll peel off nicely. If there's a little piece of a corner that didn't quite get stuck down and you can pull it, that'll save you a little bit of time. Yeah, this wasn't so cooperative, so I just have to make sure it's good and saturated, and I can scratch the back of the image a little bit. It helps the water get in a little bit quicker. And also pre-soaking. I'm going to go on to my next image I'm going to work on. I'm going to start the soaking right now. So by the time I get done removing the backing from that first image, it should be well on its way to dissolving that paper, so it's easier to come off. I don't do too many ahead of time because then they just dry out on me or it gets really messy. And so now I just pick and peel and add more water and rub and start to expose that image underneath. And this is the really fun part because it's like a reveal. You never know quite what you're going to get because it is not a perfect process. There's scratches and sometimes air bubbles. There's little imperfections everywhere. And that adds to the beauty of it, the quality of the transfer, as opposed to just using the photograph itself in your work, which you certainly can do, but this does give a little extra, I don't know, what do you call it, ambiance, mood, patina. It's just different. So now this part is kind of messy. I try in the beginning to keep my little bits of paper under control, putting them in my water jar lid so I can easily toss them into the garbage. And eventually, I think I just sort of give up on it, and there are little scraps of paper all over because it is a messy process. But it's okay. It's fun. Fun isn't always clean and tidy. Fun is messy lots of times. So the baby wipes are a nice tool to clean as you go. They can take the little bit extra off the edges that sometimes it's hard to get off, and they just clean the little bits away really nice. That paper peeled really good, but you can see there's still a layer of paper there. It gives it kind of a cloudy look. So a little extra water, and I'll just peel it off. It should come off pretty easily, I think. And yeah, it's got nice color. It's pretty bright. I'm happy with that. So let's have a look. This one did a really good job. There's those little scratches on the edge, which I like. I think those offer the patina. I was talking about that one here and the flowers. That's a bit too much. That's where I think that I had not a heavy enough coat of my gel medium, and you could see the streaks of the brushes, so just a little heavier would have done a really good job on that. So I'm going to carry on and wet down all the other pieces of paper. And then I'm going to peel those off too and see what we've got. So it's all the application of water and all this extra rubbing is why I don't like to use water-based products like the Mod Podge or another kind of coating. I do prefer the gel medium. It does hold up to all this friction and distress and basically abuse. That top flower one there, that one also had too little of gel medium on it. It is interesting, but it's not what I wanted. And I could have opted to redo my whole mat board and make my gel medium thicker, so my pictures turned out perfectly, but I learn by my mistakes, so maybe you will learn by my mistakes as well. So I'm leaving them in. And also too, the first time you do this, you're going to make mistakes. It's not going to come out perfect. And, if you can see that somebody else is not doing it perfectly and is, content and happy with it, then to me, that's encouraging. It just makes me feel like it's okay if I don't do it, 100% the first time. So there, I've done this more than a few times, and I still didn't get it right this time. But that's okay. This one turned out really nice, and I'm super happy with that. This little bird turned out really good too. I'm pleased with that one too. So that's nice. And those flowers are nice too. I could go either way with that, but And the little bird's okay. It's got some scratches on him, but that's okay. This one is a bit much, like I said. We'll see what I can do when I put tissue in that down. Maybe I can hide it. That one here, that table has just the right amount of the scratches that I like. So now I'm going to take the paper off of the vintage images from the Reminisce magazine and see how those worked with the book pages underneath. So I'm looking for that corner again, see if I can make this happen just a little bit faster. I think once I get that corner up and torn, that it does go fairly quickly. A struggle with this little potbelly stove because it seems like there's still a layer of paper on these guys. You can see it on the truck there. I just keep scrubbing and scrubbing and more keeps rubbing off. I don't remember the magazine being this hard to get off before, but there. Well, this one's soaked a little longer, maybe it'll be easier. Well, that's a little bit of the image that was still stuck to the page. That's because there probably wasn't any gel medium there on that spot. So one thing that you can do is apply gel medium directly to the image and then lay it down. I would probably put a thin layer of gel medium onto the base as well. So I put a layer onto the image and then put a layer onto the cardstock and then lay them down. And that would give you, that would make sure your edges did, come out nice and even. I actually kind of like it when they're not. I prefer things to be a little bit disorderly, especially, when we're dealing with things from antiquity. They just don't weather the years without a few scars. So, little bits of scrapes or scratches and torn edges and that, I think it just all adds to the feel. I'm going to use the baby wipes now just to give my finger a break. It's really been putting a lot of pressure on these ones because there's still a fine layer of paper coming off. Can you see the little bits of paper there? Yeah, I'm still pulling some off, so the baby wipe does help. So now I'm going to go work on that other truck and the potbelly stove. You can see a good thick layer of paper on them still, so it's going to need a little extra work. But pretty much that's all you do until you get all the paper off, is you just keep adding water and rubbing. okay, happy with this one. Not over the moon, but for the most part, I think it's workable. I think I can get some nice ephemera out of it. And this one, I still have paper that I need to pull off those other two images. And there's a lot more scratches than I'd hoped for, but again, you know, I'm okay with that. I'm not even close to done yet, so we'll just wait and see what happens after we do some stamping and add some tissue and do some framing and cutting. You enjoyed it, and I hope you learned something. I also hope you'd like to give it a try, because it's really a lot of fun and the results can be quite pleasing. So thanks again for watching. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please give it a like and hit the subscribe button and the little bell so you can be notified of when the next two parts are posted, and I'll see you then. Bye for now.